hope you enjoyed my speech. This is my audience. Start with Lena over here. That's Lena. Eddie, her brother. Here's Denise. Her boyfriend Ryan. My Uncle Russell. You can't see the camera woman right there, but that's my mom. And that's it. Did you know that US.news.com reported that in every 42 seconds, one person in this nation is arrested for marijuana possession? Did you also know that Texas ranks second in the nation's total arrests for marijuana possession? According to ACLU.texas.org, one person per every 7.5 minutes is arrested for marijuana possession. One person every 7.5 minutes is equal to 8 people every hour, or 192 people every day arrested for marijuana possession. Reports from TexasDPSState.org highlighted the rising trend of marijuana arrests from 2011 to 2014, where it consistently topped the list of the total drug possession arrests. These arrests don't come cheap. Over the years, we spent billions trying to enforce the law on the legal use of marijuana, but people still continue to smoke it. So why are we continuing to support this losing cause? While I personally don't partake in the use of marijuana, this alarming information shows to prove that it's time for us Texans to see the point of a joint. Today, I'm here to speak about how we could benefit and resolve these problems by legalizing marijuana for recreational use, which accounts for most of the criminal activities in Texas. This topic is quite relevant today in the sense that many Texans have engaged in continuous debates on whether the pros or cons of legalization of marijuana outdo the disadvantages. More so, one will get to understand the various benefits that will be reaped from the legalization for recreational use. To begin with, I will discuss the underlying problems that support the need for recreational marijuana. Then I will talk about the solutions in the proposed marijuana law reforms. Lastly, I will explain how Texas will benefit as a state if the proposed reform is passed into law. First, let's discuss the underlying problems that support the need for recreational marijuana. So, to start off this list, it is the overcrowding of inmates in Texas jails and the staggering costs spent in prosecuting and arresting marijuana-related cases. In 2011 alone, DailyTexanOnline.com reported that every day Texas jails housed at an average of 60,000 inmates, of which 10% were for petty marijuana possession, and that figure has been increasing. Added to that is the staggering costs associated with prosecuting and keeping these inmates in jail. According to TexasSGC.org, we are spending $120 a day to arrest and book one person and $62.97 a day to detain them. This means we're spending $3,788,200 per day on incarcerating 60,000 inmates, of which $378,820 were for petty marijuana cases. And these numbers will only continue to increase with the current trend. This is excluding the $300 million spent every year on arresting and prosecuting marijuana-related charges, as reported in ProgressTexas.org. Another compelling problem is the prevalence of the black markets and increasing growth of marijuana users among Texas teens and young adults. As reported in TexasDPS.state.org, increasing growth of users among teens accounts for almost 10% of the total marijuana arrests. This problem is due to the prevalence of the black markets who could care less about selling to minors. This alarming trend is even worse for young adults ages 20 to 39 years old that accounts for 74% of total marijuana arrests. This means that the majority of the people serving prison sentences should either be in school or doing other economically significant activities in Texas. All of these convictions are counterproductive because not only do they create problems in prisons, but also remove from society hardworking people, fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters whose inputs in society are unrivaled. Accordingly, let's talk about the solutions to these problems in the proposed law reforms reforms that as part of legalizing marijuana in the state. First, is to legalize marijuana like alcohol, restricted only to 21 years or older. Right now, with no regulation, it is much easier for kids to obtain marijuana as opposed to alcohol or tobacco. Second, and last, is to give the government control of the distribution and amount of marijuana circulating in Texas, as businesses selling marijuana will be registered and required to check for the buyer's IDs to prevent minors from accessing it. As proposed, the legalized marijuana will be regulated to help in solving possession of marijuana legality issues that have led to overcrowding of prisons and burdening the taxpayers even more. Further, let's look at the benefits of the proposed law reforms if marijuana will be legalized. Adoption of marijuana usage would lead to open market channels that, according to DallasObserver.com, Texas would reap over $166 million per year. Adopting this proposal would also mean that our prisons would be less crowded, which also equates to less spending by correctional facilities and on prosecuting and arresting marijuana-related cases. Most importantly, is also the derailing of black markets that lead to wasteful and harmful trafficking of the drug and corruption of our youth and young adults. Finally, all such changes would also mean that current legal statutes that have failed to curb marijuana usage would have a new effective approach to this social issue. And this is a crucial benefit. Legalization offers unparalleled benefits. Not only will it cut down on the cost of imprisoning marijuana users that continue to overcrowd prisons and criminal activity in the state, but also create a new source of revenue for Texas. The continued increase in offenses, arrests, and prosecution related to marijuana possession show that the fight against drugs is far from being successful. Legalization of marijuana would not only bring order to our prisons and cut state costs, it would also reduce crimes, increase state revenue, and even reduce usage of taxpayers' money. Consider all of these and then ask yourself, what has this current system has to counteroffer all these benefits? The move to legalize recreational marijuana is one of the major milestones Texas should seek to progress. There is no need for the government to continue wasting resources and draining its revenue pool to fund a losing cause. Thus, the government and its agencies need to convert this perceived crime into an opportunity and make enough resources to fight real crimes. Thank you. That was my presentation.